Okay, confession time. I've been watching K-dramas for years, and I just realized I've been completely fooled by some of the best visual illusions in television. Picture this. You're watching your favorite actor stride across the screen, looking like they could bench press a car, radiating this incredible presence that makes everyone around them seem smaller somehow. Then, curiosity hits, you check their profile, and suddenly, you're staring at a height that's way shorter than what your brain was telling you. These 12 K-drama actors have cracked the code on screen presence, and once you see how they do it, you'll never watch K-dramas the same way again. Trust me on this one. 12. Lee Sung-min. When he walks into a scene, you immediately know who's running the show. There's something about the way he positions himself that screams authority. Even though he's 175 centimeters, which, let's be honest, isn't exactly towering by Korean entertainment standards. But here's the thing. Directors are obsessed with filming him from slightly low angles, and it works like magic. That camera placement makes him look like he's literally looking down on everyone, even when he's not. It's like he's learned that taking up space isn't about your actual size. It's about how confidently you occupy whatever space you're given. The man has turned being underestimated into an art form. 11. Jo Jung-suk. He is proof that personality can literally make you appear taller. At 175 centimeters, he's the same height as Lee Sung-min, but his approach is completely different. In K-dramas, his character's infectious energy, rapid-fire delivery make you forget to even look at anyone else, let alone compare heights. It's like watching someone who's so comfortable in their own skin that they just naturally expand to fill whatever space they're in. The clever part is how production teams position him in group scenes. They'll have him step slightly forward or place him on a small platform that's barely noticeable, but it gives him just enough boost to match his co-stars. It's sneaky and brilliant. 10. Jong-hyuk. He has this incredible ability to make intensity look like height. Standing at 174 centimeters, he's actually on the shorter side. But when he's in character, he becomes this force of nature that feels much bigger than his measurements suggest. In his dramas, his whole presence was built around this coiled energy, like he was constantly ready to spring into action. That kind of tension makes viewers unconsciously lean forward, and suddenly he's dominating the screen. His secret weapon is body language that most actors wouldn't even think to use. He widens his stance, keeps his shoulders back, and has this way of tilting his chin that suggests he's looking down at people even when he's not. Plus, he has mastered the art of the dramatic pause. 9. Kwak Dong-yeon. Here's what's wild about him. He regularly acts opposite much taller co-stars, and you barely notice the height difference. He brings this emotional intensity that draws your focus upward to his face, his expressions, his delivery, instead of letting your eye wander down to compare their heights. The technical stuff happening behind the scenes is pretty clever too. Cinematographers love using forced perspective with him, or they'll position him closer to the camera and his taller scene partners further back. It's an old Hollywood trick, but it works every time. 8. Oh Jung-se. His approach is all about emotional weight. At 174 centimeters, he's not physically imposing, but when he's delivering a powerful scene, like those heartbreaking moments, he becomes the gravitational center of everything happening on screen. He has this gift for making vulnerability look strong, which is way harder to pull off than it sounds. What I find interesting is how directors frame his most important scenes. Instead of wide shots that would show his full body, they go for close-ups and medium shots that focus on his face and upper torso. It's not about hiding his height. It's about highlighting what makes him powerful, those incredibly expressive eyes, and the way he can convey a character's entire emotional journey without saying a word. 7. Tae-hyun. He has figured out something that a lot of actors miss. You don't have to be the tallest person in the scene to be the most memorable. At 174 centimeters, he's built his entire career around being the relatable everyman, and that authenticity makes him feel substantial in a completely different way. When he's on screen, you're not thinking about whether he's tall or short, you're thinking about how much you like him. The camera work around him is subtle but effective. 6. Jo Jung-suk. He might be 173 centimeters, but his voice adds at least 5 centimeters to his screen presence. Seriously, that deep, resonant voice of his creates this immediate sense of authority that makes him feel much older and more commanding than his actual age or height would suggest. In his roles, he was often the calm center holding everything together, and that stability translated into visual weight on screen. There's also something about his posture that works in his favor. He has this naturally straight spine and controlled way of moving that suggests confidence without arrogance. Directors love to frame him in shots where he's standing still while chaos happens around him. And in those moments, he becomes this pillar of strength. 5. Ji-sung. He is a masterclass in how good acting can completely override physical limitations. At 173 centimeters, he's not tall, but his ability to transform into completely different characters makes you forget everything else about his physical appearance. That's the thing about truly gifted actors. They can reshape your perception of them just by changing how they hold themselves. One personality would slouch and seem smaller, another would stand tall and appear to grow. When an actor has that level of control over their physical presence, their actual measurements become irrelevant. He proved that height is really just a state of mind. 4. Park Ji-hoon. His role in Weak Hero Class was brilliant because it actually used his height as a strength. At 173 centimeters, he was obviously smaller than his bullies, but that physical disadvantage became the whole point of his character's power. Instead of trying to make him look taller, the show leaned into his size and made his intelligence and strategy the things that made him formidable. The cinematography in that show was really smart about it too. They'd use tight close-ups on his face during confrontations, focusing on his calculating expressions rather than showing full-body shots. When the camera was locked on his eyes, showing you exactly what he was thinking and planning, his physical size became completely irrelevant. It's a perfect example of how the right role and the right director can turn what might be seen as a limitation into the character's greatest asset. 3. Seung-woo. He has perfected the art of quiet dominance. At 172 centimeters, he's one of the shorter actors on this list. But when he's playing a character like he did in Stranger, he commands every scene through sheer intensity and intelligence. His power comes from stillness. He can stand perfectly motionless and somehow become the most compelling thing happening on screen. The way he's filmed really emphasizes this controlled energy. Directors love to use straight-on or slightly low angles with him, which puts you at his eye level or slightly below it. Combined with his naturally serious demeanor and those incredibly focused eyes, it creates the sense that he's looking right through you. Number 2. Jo Jung-suk. He is living proof that talent can make you appear any size you need to be. At 172 centimeters, he's not tall, but his range as an actor is enormous. One moment he'd be charming and approachable, the next he'd switch to this commanding presence that made everyone else seem smaller. His eyes are definitely his secret weapon. They're incredibly expressive and directors know it. You'll see a lot of close-ups and medium shots that focus on his face rather than his full body. When the camera is tight on those intense stares or subtle emotional shifts, you're not seeing his height. You're seeing a complete, complex character. That screen presence that can't be measured with a ruler. And here's our number 1. Min-seok at just 170 centimeters. He's the shortest actor on our list, but in terms of emotional impact, he's a giant. In his roles, the raw, authentic performance was so powerful that he completely dominated every scene he appeared in. His height wasn't just irrelevant, it actually made his character more relatable and heartbreaking. He represents everything we love about K-drama casting. It's not about fitting a physical mold, it's about finding actors who can make you feel something real. When he needs to be powerful, he uses his voice and his expressions to convey that strength. His shorter stature often makes his characters more endearing and approachable, but when the script calls for emotional intensity, he delivers it in a way that feels completely genuine. He's proof that the biggest presence in the room doesn't have to be the tallest person, it just has to be the most authentic one. Which one of these actors surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I actually read them all, so don't hold back. And you should definitely check out our previous video about top 16 Korean actors whose deep voices are seriously addictive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.